Whoa, look who's finally back. Look who's back. I made a video last week, but right in the middle of it, I got an interruption. And I just never managed to go back and finish the video out. I forgot a key from work and I had to run it back. So just by the time I got home, I was like, fuck this. I'm not in the mood anymore. I've been doing a new thing at work lately, and it's no phone time. None. Unless I'm responding to a message, of course. Or like I was having to email because I received some books and some of them were lost in transit some fucking how. The Postal Service damaged the books and I gotta get a refund, which is a pity. But yeah, anyway, no YouTube, because I don't do anything else. I don't go on Facebook or Reddit or what are those things that people do? Whatever, you know what I mean? I don't do that. I only use YouTube like crazy. That's my source of everything. And I said, no more. So I haven't really been watching YouTube lately. In the morning, I'll listen to a podcast while I'm waking up about my sports team. But other than that, that's about it. It's just, for me, it's like radio. Because that podcast, if it was on the radio, I would just listen to that. But what I've been doing in replacing that is writing in journals. I take 2 with me to work. Why 2? I don't know. I like the option. I like to do many things at once. And the biggest thing that I've been really throwing in here, besides my own personal thoughts and stuff, was I'm kind of using it as a playground for the Forgotten series, which I'm about to start recording the audio today. Oh God, it's always a thing, you know what I mean? Because then I gotta read out loud and that's not good. But I'm gonna record the audio today. After that, it'll probably be maybe another couple weeks till it's ready. So I just have gotten to a point in the story where I thought, like, well, let's kind of think about some of these things here that we've discovered. And the biggest thing that it's built around, here's something that'll fucking throw you in it, is the concept of God and how the Creator works and stuff. And just what it is to me. This is purely speculatory, and it's only based in feeling. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to disclaimer that, okay? I'm not telling people, this is fucking God. This is what you need to think God is. Like, no. I just want to disclaimer that by saying, hey man, I'm just kind of thinking, okay? So I first would preface it by saying, clearly, in my interpretation thus far in the journey, God is a vessel. It's a thing to enter through. It's a doorway. That might sound fucking weird, but that's all I got so far. It's just like, I just kept thinking about it, and I was like, what is the Creator? And I'm using my Forgotten series as like the template of the idea of the Creator, okay? And thus far, all I can really say is it's a doorway. God, the Creator, you know, whatever you want to call the highest of high, the All-Father, is a doorway. It's a archetypal thing to pass through, and on the other side lies a kingdom of some sense, a state. I don't necessarily think that, oh yeah, you pass through it, you can become the God on the other side. I don't know. I'm not really sure. Now keep in mind as I'm saying this, it's less of like, here's what I think it is in our living world, and a lot more to do with my own mythology, if this seems a bit blasphemous, okay? So I was thinking in that terms, and I thought, okay, if it's like a doorway, then what are the archetypes of the mind? So your own characters in your head, your own personality types. And how are those in conjunction with the mythologies of the past, the deities? Think of the Olympians and the Titans. What do those represent? Because as I look at the Olympians, the Titans, in this instance here, I'd say, well, those are all different aspects of one person. And I muse, like, is it a certain person that the Olympians and Titans represent? Or is it an embodiment of all men of Greek culture, you know, that at that time? I don't necessarily know. So I said, like for instance, Zeus is the highest of the Olympians. Well, that's something that all men deal with. That feeling of being so driven to hook up with a bunch of different women, I guess, to put it bluntly. I feel that too, and it's just like, it feels that way. You're just like, God damn it, why are you around? Now I must have you, you know, there's that vibe to it. You can control it, but it's still in there, kind of feeling that way. And so like, I was just thinking about all those things, and I said, what exactly does that mean? How does that work exactly? And so I thought to myself, well then what is Jesus? What does he represent? What does he do? And I thought to myself, let's put ourselves in his shoes and write a stream of consciousness thing. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to read what I wrote. This is on 3:1. I need to be added to the consciousness, not only through my philosophy or beliefs or feelings even, but of ascension, to help people see their bullshit. It's what is needed. To look into the mirror, you see your pursuits are meaningless. We are always better than those small jobs that keep the system moving. We need more businessmen, huh? You are full of yourself if you believe you are better than the trash you throw out, or the man who collects it. Ascended archetypes. I believe that is what the greats are, though we think it's because what voice they leave behind, through music, words, image, or thought. But I say it's more. They add to the ideas of man, the ever-moving consciousness, the concepts, the archetypes through thought to be done right. It must be under two types of higher power, male and female, Sky and Gaia. Gods. These gods rule our perceptions, to stand for the moral high, the protectors and makers of justice. Hence we give them ritual power when invoking them. There is so much proof when we look at the Greek gods, how they are some archetypes of a person. Who that person is, I cannot say. The collective Greek man, hard to say. The being of self can be fully of straw men, casting your own demise upon someone, to make another the object of your very own fears, some central figure in a nightmare that we bring to us in the waking life. Acted out upon the stage, rehearsed responses, practice modes of being, anxiety passed through the groups we cling to or even see around us, never knowing it's always been a fight within our mind, one which we fight with ourselves. So the idea for me is saying these archetypes of these characters that we can say are deities, or at least at one time, are things that arrive within ourselves and we can access them. And in accessing them, there's a good and there's a bad. So I was trying to give the case of anxiety and stuff like that. So like toxic femininity, toxic masculinity, black supremacy, white supremacy, you fucking name it, man. All the things that are seen as negative, that's you acting out your anxiety about how you feel about yourself and putting it onto others. Plain and fucking simple. So I thought the being that we would identify as Jesus would be the one that, in seeing all that, because that's always been going on, had to add some sort of thing into the consciousness. So I first started out when I said that, it was like, yeah, I need to be added to the consciousness to invoke my beliefs and shit like that. Then I go into a negative thought by saying people think they're better than the smaller jobs all around them, right? We always need more businesses. We need more coffee companies. We need more fucking dudes trying to sell houses and shit. It's all this stupid shit. What we never get is people aspiring to do the jobs that keep everything going. Like the trash men, the dudes in grocery stores, the fucking, the nursing assistants and stuff. Like all these jobs that keep everything going, we're all too good for. I'm too good to do that. I have a college education, I'm better than that. That kind of stupid mentality, and I thought that breeds idiocy. It really does. And I went from that because in my mind I thought start with a negative thought and then just move with it. That's where we got so far, is the being of self and how we use the archetypes. The ascended archetypes is what I'm calling them. Merely your personality. Think of your personality as many different beings all working in like a council. You know what I'm saying? And you can really simplify by thinking of fear and love as the two highest ones. And all the other ones are born from that. You know, your greed, your jealousy, your wrath, your anger, and those are all different versions of beings that can sway your overall consciousness, which is kind of like a voice of it. It's like an interpreter of these things. The consciousness is merely just a vehicle. It's not, as far as I've been thinking about it, the consciousness is kind of not what I was always thought to believe, that it's you. You know what I mean? It kind of is, but in some sense, in my mind, I'm thinking it's more of a mouthpiece. You are a... Man, I really wish I could give you a metaphor, but the only thing I can think of is it's like the speaker. You know, you talk to the microphone, it comes out the speaker. Whatever's behind the consciousness is what's there. We have a vehicle. The consciousness is the speaker, and then behind that is all of the beings that are inside of whatever. I don't know. Merely the reason I think this is because you can change so much of yourself in time. You can always keep changing yourself. You can keep going and becoming a different person, or having different beliefs, or looking at life differently. Like you're totally capable of doing it. It's not like, no, I have a system I run and that's fucking it. I'll always be this way. Like, no, you make yourself, right? And so to me, that's why I thought, well, it's not just a simple consciousness. It's no way. It has to come in and out. And we are the vessel, of course. So I said, speaking of self, who is that? That is I, me, and what I see. See? Perceive? Who knows? What is my mind? What is my very mind? What is my soul? So I said, those are my questions. Keeping in mind that we're ascending, we're thinking of like a young Jesus here. I want to give better examples, but that's kind of all people really know is Jesus. I can't tell you about other fucking higher beings, because then we'll get in weird debates about things. So keeping that all in mind, I am what I seek from others. This is my first thing. So what is self? Who is that? Well, I am what I seek from others. And what is it that I seek? Depends on the person. Is it selfish or not? Again, depends on the person. The next one, I am what I see in others. And what is it I see? Depends on the person. Do I only see the bad? Do I see the pain and suffering? Do I ignore the feelings and see trashy people? This is my term. Depends on the person. I am what I think. That's me. What do I think? Well, depends on the thoughts. It is influenced by me, or is it influenced by you, them? Am I just retaliating? Am I pondering? Was my thought before? Depends on the thought. So I said, well, I am what I know. What do you know? Well, depends on what I believe is true. From you, me, them, or what sought to be true. So I said, well, shit. What am I to the Creator? No idea. In some sense, it's like Descartes? Is that who that was? I always forget. The guy that says I am, therefore I think, therefore I am. The philosophy of that, 1500s. In working through the idea of these archetypes of being, these things that we can understand of ourselves, I thought, well, how do I interpret that? How do I know what I am? And the fact that I can't necessarily answer that question is what really led me down this ascended archetype thing. In saying that, I just kind of feel as if the only way to truly understand myself is to look at others, because it's all I've ever done. Now, again, keeping in the ideas of this ascended master, I want to call him Jesus, just one of many, honestly. Socrates is one fucking too, you know. But understanding who they were is what they add to the consciousness. Do you see how it's all kind of like, man, I don't know who I am. Then I have dark negative thoughts. And then I'm confused by what the beings are inside of me. What the hell is my consciousness? When you have an ascended master go through, the Jesus in this case, you have someone who adds to the consciousness. someone that adds to the idea, and he creates the thought form. I go inside this, I create a home. I create a place inside this giant, vast, fucking huge unknown. You create homes, and he made one. And that home leads to a doorway, which that doorway is the creator. And through that creator, I don't know what happens after that. Clearly, I'm on the mortal plane. I can't tell you what comes next. I've never died, you know. I guess in some sense, I'm slowly starting to think that the afterlife that the Christians believe, I would say the Jews too, but they always seem like in confliction about everything, is just one, I could say, artificial afterlife created. Just one doorway. And I know there's this whole thing about that's the only way. There is one way. Jesus destroyed all the old gods. There's only one way. It's like, okay, I don't know about that, because that's not how shit works. You know what I'm saying? Like, just how nature is and how everything is in this realm. You'd have to transcend all of that. How can you transcend all of that on this realm? You can't. It only transcends beyond the realm. And that's the idea of it in some sense. If I try to block up fucking water, it always finds another way to come through. If I try to stop infestation of bugs, they'll find another place to go. It's not like he says, and I defeated it, and it's forever gone. Like, you can't do that. Nature always finds a way. And to say that the kingdom of heaven is transcendent of that because it's beyond, well, that's because it is beyond. It isn't here. You have to find a way into that beyond. And that's what religion seems to be to me. It's just a doorway to allow you to see the concept of what is beyond and putting it into the nature that you're in and making you at odds against it. You know, for me, when I hear about religion, it always, well, at least Western, you know, it's not really in nature. It's not in tune with the world. And to me, that was the biggest kind of like red flag. And so going into all that and saying, I think that the doorway is, the creator is the doorway and Jesus is just one man pushing it through. There's so many vast other ones that either aren't identified or created yet. I like to think that God is this great black hole, I guess, to put it in like a modern sense. But there's many different wormholes that lead to that place. They're all scattered around this imaginary universe. All these little wormholes that lead to the center of it. I think in some small way, there was possibly, our minds could fathom that there's a center to this galaxy, and that's why we have such ideas of God. I think it's just one of those things. I think there's something there, probably. I don't fucking know, because you don't know what human history has done when a long time has happened and we forgot about it. I mean, shit, people can barely remember the exact accounts of something that happened 200 years ago. Now you want to talk about 200,000, like, you know? So, to me, that's just kind of where I've been at lately. I've just been really pondering all this stuff and finding that maybe there's some truth to this. And I want to again caveat it by saying, this is not a new, well, it could be. I'm always leery, so I'm always trying to like downplay it. But for me, this is mostly wrapped around my book. How I can explain the story of Dove and Thies right now, because it's hard as I've been writing it. I've been really just going stream of consciousness, and like I don't even know what's going to come next. You know, this episode I just did, I don't know what the hell is going to happen next. No idea. So I've been planning it, and in planning that, I have to ponder these questions, like what exactly is the creator? What exactly is consciousness? What are my feelings? What about others? Are others separate from me truly or seemingly? And so like it's stuff like that. What exactly is poetry? What is it opening up? Is that a doorway? Is that my own imagination? What about synchronicities? What are those? For instance, and speaking of synchronicities for myself, I always knew I was on the right path. I always thought I was the creator at work. And my interpretation of him back then was a higher being beyond me. And I thought, anytime something monumental happened in my life, there were 3 things that happened. So in the early days, it's so interesting how this works. But in the early days, whenever some kind of monumentous thing happened in my life that I needed to pay attention to and learn from, or something along those lines, there was a certain specific semi trailer that would always drive by that said Heartland Express. I never see this truck. In 10 years, I've seen it 3 times. And on those 3 times, it was a monumentous moment that changed my life forever. Then that slowly turned into the number 22, where I would see the number 22 when I started creating my mythology. That number would pop up anytime I had a certain thought or a certain belief or something happened to me. I needed to pay attention to it, a conversation, whatever it was, 22 would pop up and I would be like, well, fucking A. So I would have to follow that. And it's led me down some fucking roads that it just changed my life forever. The newest one is seeing an eagle, a bald eagle. I've been seeing, whenever it's happened 2 times so far in the past like 5 months, or I had a specific day happen to me and I was like, man, this feels like a really special thing. Boom, I'd see on my way home a bald eagle passing in front of me. Right? And you can equate that to the creator. You can equate that to Zeus, right? There's all this like speculative mythology and religion that you can really look into, comparative religions and stuff. And you see the eagle is actually a high kind of being, right? It's a shamanistic thing. The shaman comes to them in the form of the eagle, I think, if I'm remembering things correctly. So I just thought, oh, okay. You know, I must have to do this thing. And it happened to me a couple days ago. I had a conversation with a guy at work. I opened myself up. He opened himself up. I found someone in need of a mentor in a sense. And I just thought, I don't know about that, eagle man. What are you doing? And as I was driving home, fucking bald eagle passed in front of me. I just have never seen a bald eagle in my life until the past couple of years. I think I've only seen it 3 times. And I was like, holy shit. I didn't know they were out here. Damn, they're huge. And so that's what I mean, like synchronicities. And I'm not in control of that. Am I looking for it? No, because my mind is distracted. When I was driving, I was thinking of something totally different. And I saw it and I was like, oh shit, a thing to do. So that has led me down where I sit now, and it's led me to the shit I'm saying. I've only gotten here because of that. And it's only until relatively recently, you think of like seraphims and angels and all that stuff. I've really been kind of in touch with my personal guardian. In the past, you would say it was an ancestor. Now we'd say it was like an archangel or something that was looking out for you. Whatever the fuck you want to believe it is. But I've been identifying mine. And there's a few of them. And they always are guiding me down this fucking road. Because I recently asked myself, why the fuck am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I doing this shit? I notice when I'm being given signs now. The bald eagle, in this case. Having been noticing them after significant moments. Just another sign to pay attention to. What is the overall purpose to this journey? What is it needed? What is to be gained? Or lost for that matter? So my first question, what do you feel you're meant to do? The answer, the mythology. For one, is what comes to mind at least. First, question, why is that? Answer, I can only explain it as an overwhelming feeling that it must be done. This is based on my own determination and the will of my guardian, not to mention the creator. That is the only explanation I can comprehend this far. The task lies ahead. It's only a matter of my pace, because that's the problem here. I'm so slow at this. I feel, in some ways, I feel like I'm being dragged through the mud. Like I'm just not ready for this. My feet aren't underneath me, but I'm being dragged forward anyway. And I've been scrambling to try to keep up. I feel like because of that, a lot of the things that I need to do, I'm not equipped for. You know? I've been doing as much reading and studying as I possibly can, but sometimes I just feel so inadequate. I've been trying to shape the images of my head into drawings and stuff, and I feel inadequate. Same with the music. It's there, but I don't feel I can get it out quite right. I know that I have a purpose and I must do it, but I don't even know exactly how to do it. And as I've been doing it more and more, it's that stream of consciousness where I kind of let go of everything and just egolessly write, don't plan something necessarily. You can kind of do that outside of it because you're interpreting your own work, but when you're in it, I let go. I don't hold anything. I don't expect anything. I don't plan anything. I don't want. It's just, I let it go. I give it this ego death, in a sense. It's like a modern term to help you understand what I'm saying. And in doing that, it makes itself, and I'm just on the other end of it trying to keep up with the words that are coming to me, or the drawings, or the fucking music, or whatever it happens to be. There is no plan to this, really. And that's what a lot of what I do. And sometimes the shit I read, I'm like, why the fuck am I reading this, of all things, right now? But I keep doing it. Even though it feels fucking stupid, or I feel like I can't comprehend this. I'll find that damn sentence that reassures me. Talking about the Guardian. Talking about the labyrinth of the mind. Talking about the consciousness inside of it, that are the multitude of different beings all vying for their own control in some sense. And you being the arbiter of all that. I'm finding that sparsely throughout all the works I've been reading. Could I nail it down and tell you like how exactly? Like, no. It's just, there's a part of my brain that I've turned off. What is the left brain? The more logical memory side and all that, right? The scientific kind of more mathematical and shit. I turned that off. It's still on. Let me say it like this. I turned off my perception to it. It's on, it's perceiving, it's doing, it's acting. But to me, it feels like an alien being. So when I'm reading things, my right brain's like, I don't understand this because this doesn't make any fucking sense to me. What the fuck are we reading? We're reading about lodestones. Lodestones? Magnets? What the fuck is this about? That part of me doesn't understand it, and he's just going like, I don't know, but I'll keep reading. But I know that there's another part of my brain that's comprehending it, but I don't know how to access that part because I've turned it off a long time ago. But that part of me is working quietly in the dark, and it's just giving me things when I need it. It's just like, it's seeing a pattern, and it's like, hey, there's a pattern here. Bald eagle. Look at that eagle. What happened before that? In some sense, this is what I've learned. The creator is in my head. The creator, like everyone else, is in their heads. You comprehend it, you give it meaning and definition and understanding. It's in there. How the fuck wouldn't it be? If it wasn't, you wouldn't be thinking about it. There is no way that you could not think about the creator but believe him. You know what I mean? You have to put him inside your head. That's also how thought forms work. If I want to believe in a religion, I have to think about it. I have to be inside of it. I have to learn about it. I have to obey their tenets. I have to follow the rituals and shit. I allow it inside of me. You, my friend, just opened yourself to a doorway. Now, that's what I've been learning about myself. So for me, the story of Dove, if you've ever listened to me talking about it, he split his mind in half. And he used the creative half to make consciousness. But the right brain half is learning the whole rest of the way who he is. That's the story of Dove, right? Split my brain in half. My creative side I put inside of this. It comes to life, animated like Frankenstein. Leads me on a journey, quietly, for my left brain to learn who he is so we can access him again. That's my personal journey. That's not like, this is what everyone must go through. I don't know. But that's what I've learned about my book. It's the creator, God, the synchronicities of life are within myself that I'm identifying. And the creator inside of me and all of the guardians that are helping me, we're moving to a purpose. And we're using as the foundation my mythology. That is the foundation of my mind. So I can use that to look at everything. The story of the forgotten is how I forgot the left side of my head, in a sense. You know, the logical side. It'd be hilarious if I was saying it this whole time and I was supposed to say right. That would be something I would do. Because I forget left from right. But you know what I mean. So that's kind of the journey so far. And the reason I want to talk about all this is to kind of say, like, here's just where I'm at. This is what's going on. I'm trying to work on these things. I'm trying to figure them out. Here's how I'm doing them. It's just kind of hard to keep up on these damn videos as of late, because there's so much to be done. There's so much work ahead. It's hard to just like, and then come here and like tell you about this shit, you know. That's why I get like depressed feeling, because I'm just like, oh my God. And I got to tell you about things, and I'm just exhausted. So, I guess in some sense, trying to figure all this stuff out through the journaling has been crucial. I had to kind of literally turn off the phone. Stop going on YouTube and watching fucking videos. Because, what do they say nowadays? Doom scrolling. That's all I would be doing. Like, there's nothing to watch. Nothing to watch. And it would just it'd be all interesting things, but it's too much. I can't do it. I can't handle that. I don't think any human can, and it's overstimulating, and it's fucking me up. And so I've just taken a break from the YouTubes. And because it's been working so well, I don't even do it at home anymore. You know? I'm much more content sitting there just watching the cats. Or looking at the art on my walls. Watching the candles and stuff. Like, I'm way more content doing that now. I have much more fun watching a candle burn than I do watching some flashy fucking stupid video anymore. Why? I don't know. But I don't feel as overstimulated, as distracted. And because of that lack of distraction, it's really been making me focus on what I need to focus on. And do what I need to do. Pay attention to the world around me a little bit more than I was before. It's been an adventure. And I love that I can really tell you, the story of my struggle is trying to understand my left side of my brain. I would never have come up with that if it wasn't for this internet break that I took. I'd be distracted, just keep watching lectures and keep listening to historical videos and whatever that I was getting into, watching sports and stuff. I would just keep being distracted, but I allowed myself to feel these things. And it wasn't really easy, and it's not like I did that and I was like, that was the easiest fucking thing I've ever done in my life. Like, it's been hell. It really has. And I know I have so much to be done ahead still, in saying all that. I mean, look at the books I got behind me. This is just one bookshelf, like, I still got to read all that shit. I mean, in my lifetime, not like in the next couple of years. That'd be insane. But I feel on the right path. And it can be kind of debilitating a little bit. Sometimes I shut off. Like I was telling my wife, like, man, I'm feeling that again where it's hard to feel. It's hard to, see something beautiful and think it's beautiful. It's hard to be inspired or be shocked by something or be humbled. I just feel separate from the world right now. I kind of feel like I'm apart. And like the example I gave her was a great book to me feels like playing Skyrim and you pick up a book, you're like, anyway, I'll fucking keep that and maybe look at it later. I don't know. Or talking to a person that has something they can give you feels like talking to an NPC where I'm like, okay, you have a fucking fetch quest I don't give a shit about. Picking up some great thing is just like finding another ebony sword. Like, I already have 3 of these. I don't need it. That's how life feels to me right now. Like a video game. I just feel like it's this separate little simulation that I don't really feel like getting into right now. I'm too busy doing my book stuff and my mythology that it's hard for me sometimes to find the beauty of the world around me. And that's what I was talking about, why I think religion is separate from nature, because that's what kind of feels like. I base it on my own experience, of course. Even though I'm not religious, I'm just spiritual, right? Thing that people don't like. It's just like kind of quite a bit to go through. Right, Danny? But trying to keep up and do these damn videos. I've lost subscribers in the past month. I think I lost like 4 to 6 of them, right? Which is not really a big deal to me, because again, you always shoo those kind of people away. It's just, there's a pressure, I guess, a quiet pressure, like I have to have a new video because no one's allowed to watch old videos. It's illegal. So I have to kind of keep that up. And then sometimes I just get sick of it. And I'm like, I don't want to fucking, you can just go back in time. It exists. The internet there's no such thing as time on the internet. You can go back and forward and do whatever you want. It's literally another reality. You know what I mean? It's literally another world you can go into outside of time and space. You can watch a video. You can watch my first video ever right now. You know, you can watch the newest one tomorrow. It doesn't mean shit. But I would just kind of feel upset, like, oh man, I gotta keep working so hard to get people to look at me, you know. And I gotta stop that process of thinking, because it's very stupid. Fuck them. If that's a person that exists, I doubt it. But if they do, fuck them. You know. So I don't know. That's where we are right now. That's our idea of consciousness and God and all that shit. And it's definitely playing a part in the Forgotten series that's coming. It's just really hard to like put this all together into one single room. But anyway, I'm gonna go. Time to pop. And I will see you in the next one. I was reading something and it said, once the secret name of a god was discovered, then that god's enemies could do damage to his people, destructive magic, through the name of that god. And this is what I was telling you in the earlier days, that God's a vessel. God's a portal. Taking his powers, thus defeating the other gods, like Christianity echoes the practice of Rome. Because the Romans would do that. They would figure out your god's name, and they'd say, well, then we'll take that and manipulate it in such a way and bastardize that god and make that god fight his own people. Right? Just the shit they fucking did. To use that name against his people. So the devil is of man's liberation. God seeks justice from the hand of old gods. He is man's vessel. And that's the kind of thing I was thinking about. It's like, that seems to be how this works. It's just you want to destroy something from a people. You just figure out their God's secret name, use it. All of a sudden, a new being comes around and like destroys all their things, and you replace it with your consciousness, your new idea. So seemingly religion's a consciousness shift of mankind. And that's why I was thinking that, you know, God and all that stuff is just of man, because that's secretly what I've slowly been believing, and it's been very interesting to kind of come up with this stuff and discover it. Later we'll be dealing with Dove in that sense, but just kind of wanted to throw that at you, what I was thinking about in very broad terms, and then maybe eventually I can kind of go into this a lot more once I figure it the fuck out.